radians and degrees. So a radian is just another unit to measure angles, and it's much more useful in calculus, so we'll be using it a fair bit from now on. But to define what a radian is, we actually need to draw a circle. So here we have our circle, and let's draw in our center, and let's call the radius r. And a radian is actually going to be the arc length that has a length equal to the radius of our circle. So inside here, we have 1 radian. So how many radians would be inside 1 whole circle? Well, let's have a look. We know the circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r. And we want to know how many r's, so because an r on the circumference is equal to a radian, so how many r's are going to fit inside our circumference? So to work that out, we can just divide. So to work out our total radians in a circle, we're just going to take the circumference and divide by the length of each radian. The circumference of the circle is 2 pi r divided by r, so the r's cancel, and we get 2 pi for the total radians in a circle. And remember, radian is it's a degree, isn't it? So we're looking at a radian, and we also know the total degrees in a circle is 360, so we can say that therefore 360 degrees equals 2 pi radians. And the symbol for radians is actually a little c. And then we can actually divide both sides by 2 here. So we could say that 180 degrees equals pi radians. And we can use this to convert any degrees to radians or any radians to degrees. So if we want to convert degrees to radians, all we need to do is multiply our degrees by pi over 180. And if we want to convert radians to degrees, we could times by 180 over pi. Or alternatively, we could actually sub in 180 degrees for pi. Let's have a look at some examples. So how do we change 30 degrees into radians? Well, we know to change degrees to radians, you just times by pi over 180. So we get 30 times pi over 180. So 30 is like 30 over 1. So we get 30 pi over 180. And this simplifies to just pi over 6 radians. So 30 degrees is equivalent to pi over 6 radians. What about pi over 4 radians? And we want to convert that to degrees. My preferred method is actually just subbing in 180 for pi, so we can do that. So just sub in 180 for pi, so we get 180 divided by 4, which is 45 degrees. So pi on 4 radians is the same thing as 45 degrees. And as you get used to these, you'll end up just memorizing a bunch, and I'd want to memorize all of these. So 30 degrees, 45, 60, 90, 180, 270, and 360. We should already know 180 is pi radians, 360 is 2 pi. So 30 is pi over 6 radians, 45 is pi over 4, 60 is pi over 3, 90 is pi over 2, and 270 is 3 pi over 2.